To help enhance your lunging or split squat movements, we're just gonna go through a couple of the most common issues with the movement and then what we should be looking for. So first, a split squat or a lunge is going to be 1 foot going forward, 1 foot going back, or the feet are already there. Okay, so first our split squat, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, dropping down and coming up. The difference between that and a lunge, the lunge is you're gonna be moving back and forth, or forward first and back up. Okay, so split squat, feet are always staying right where they are, going through that action, lunge, come back up to the top. With both movements, one of the most common issues we see is the hip shifting out and the knee turning in. Okay, so let's go from a split squat position again here. So as I go down into this position, what we usually see is that the hip will shift out to the side, so the front leg hip shifts out and that knee kicks in. This position, as we go to work here, training or sport or anything during the day, is no good. It can cause hip issues and it can cause knee issues, such as an ACL tear. Okay, so we want to make sure as we go through this action, I'm thinking about, can I keep this front side hip kind of shifted in and the back side hip rotated forward. Okay, from there, knee is in line with my pinky toe, and then I'm going to work. Okay, so that's the most common issue, number one. Number two is the ability to maintain a neutral upper body position. Okay, so again, working from a split squat position, what we'll see a lot of times is we go into the bottom position here, the back will round forward, we lose that nice neutral position. So I want to make sure the chest stays up here, okay? And also, if you notice, I am pitched forward slightly, right? So I'm not completely straight up and down. When I'm completely straight up and down, that's putting a lot of pressure on the back side. I want to try to make sure most of the work is taking place in the front side, hip, and quad. So I'm in a slight forward hinge position, chest is neutral, and I'm going to work, and I'm trying to stay as heavy as I can in my front heel as I go to work here. Okay? Last common mistake that we see with, again, either a reverse lunge or a split squat action is the length of stride. Okay? We can either be too close or too far. Okay? So too close to start here. As you go down, what you'll end up noticing is that you're gonna kind of collapse in on yourself. So my back knee is actually in line with my heel or in front of my heel, which is no good, which then causes me to collapse forward, and it really kind of just targets my quads versus using this hip. Okay? So again, we don't want to be too tight on ourselves here. We also don't want to be too far back. If I'm too far back, again, as I go to work here, now most of the emphasis is placed on the back side, and it puts my lead or trail hip, into a pretty extended position, which we don't want either. Okay, so not too far back, going through that. We want to make sure as we go through this action that our knee drops relatively in line with my back hip. Okay, my front shin is relatively straight up and down, so to come forward just slightly because of that athletic position that I'm getting into again, and that's going to be the position that I'm going to want to go to work with. Okay, so those three common mistakes: the knee turning in or the hip shifting out, the upper body position being lost, and then the stride length either being too short or too long. Correct those, and your split squat and lunging activities will not only be maximized, but injury prevention will be even greater, and then we can really go to work with that movement pattern.